All right, so are humans aliens? I mean, it's a question. Right?
It's a fascinating one for sure.
Yeah, it's definitely out there, but it's intriguing. And we're going to take a deep dive into it today. We're actually looking at a book called Humans Are Not From Earth.
Interesting.
It's written by Dr. Ellis Silver.
Okay.
And he makes the case, that our biology doesn't really add up for living on this planet.
Right.
So are we going to rewrite the history books today? I don't know, but we're going to see.
Let's find out.
So Dr. Silver.
Well, he starts off with back pain,
Yeah.
which many of us can relate to. And he says that it's because Earth's gravity is too strong for us.
So, we're just walking around with these, extraterrestrial slip discs?
Yeah, not quite. So back pain is more of a wear and tear issue than a sign of alien origin.
Gotcha.
Our spines, as we age, the discs degenerate.
Right.
And our modern lifestyles, we sit a lot.
Right.
We're not as active as our ancestors were, which probably led to healthier backs for them.
So ditch the office chair, hit the savannah.
Yeah, get moving.
And my back pain will go away.
Well, it certainly couldn't hurt. But, back problems aren't actually just unique to humans.
Right, right.
A lot of animals experience similar issues as they get older.
Okay.
Especially ones that have a similar spinal structure. So really, it's just biomechanics and the effects of time, not proof of extraterrestrial anything.
Okay, so back pain, debunked.
Yeah.
What about sunburns?
Okay.
Dr. Silver says that we are way too sensitive to the sun compared to other animals.
Yeah.
He says that maybe we evolved under a weaker sun or something.
Interesting. Well, it's true. Humans get sunburned pretty easily, especially those of us with fairer skin.
Right, right.
But it really comes down to our individual melanin levels, that pigment that protects us from the sun's rays. And it also comes down to our behavior, like wearing sunscreen or seeking shade.
Oh, so it's not that we're aliens, it's just that we forgot our SPF 50.
Yeah. Evolution basically prepares each species for its environment.
Right.
And for humans, we've evolved to adapt to different levels of sun exposure, whether that's tanning or, like I said, seeking shade or covering up.
Okay, so 2 arguments down for Dr. Silver. Let's move on to his next one, which is childbirth.
Okay.
Human childbirth. And he's right. It is really difficult. It's notoriously difficult.
It is.
So he suggests, maybe we're just not designed for this planet at all.
Right. Well, childbirth is a very unique challenge for humans, that's for sure.
Yeah.
But it's not alien DNA that's the culprit here. It's bipedalism.
Okay.
Walking upright. It's like it's a defining human trait.
Yeah.
But it actually reshaped our pelvises, which led to narrower birth canals, which makes childbirth more difficult.
So our ability to walk on 2 legs is amazing, but it kind of came with a price tag.
Yeah. But, over time, evolution has also given us adaptations to help ease this challenge. Like human babies are born relatively premature compared to other primates, which allows them to pass through the birth canal more easily.
Interesting.
So it's a balance,
It's fascinating how evolution just figures it out.
It does.
It's just constantly problem solving.
It is. It is.
Okay, so even the difficulty of childbirth, you can trace that back to our evolutionary history here on Earth. All right, Dr. Silver, what else you got with your next argument?
He says that humans are just too frail.
Okay.
They get sick more easily than other animals, and that maybe our immune system just isn't meant for this planet.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So are we just weaklings compared to the rest of the animal kingdom?
Well, we do get sick.
We do.
But I think calling it frailty, it's a bit misleading.
Okay.
A lot of the illnesses that we face are actually linked to our lifestyles, environmental factors, pathogens, things like that.
Right, yeah.
If you eat a balanced diet,
right.
You practice good hygiene, and you have access to health care, you're much less likely to get sick.
So maybe it's less about being inherently weak and more about just taking care of ourselves.
Right, exactly.
And our environment.
Exactly. And, humans have our lifespans have increased so much over time.
It's true.
It's a pretty good sign we're not doing too bad here.
I'd say. Okay, Dr. Silver, 4 arguments down. You got one more for us.
One more.
Okay, lay it on us.
He brings up our reliance on tools.
Okay.
And he says that this dependency means that we didn't evolve naturally alongside other species.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
So what, we're supposed to just, I don't know, pick berries with our teeth or something?
No, I think that's where his perspective maybe misses the mark. Our ability to actually create and use tools is proof of evolution.
Right.
Not against it. our opposable thumbs, our brains, our problem-solving skills, these all helped us become masters of using tools, which has led to us being so successful as a species.
It's like saying that, birds shouldn't fly because they rely on wings. Tools are just an extension of our abilities, not a sign that we don't belong here.
Exactly.
Okay, so our tool use, that's a hallmark of human ingenuity and adaptability.
It is. Think about chimpanzees.
Okay, yeah.
They can use tools a little bit, but nothing compared to what we can do.
Right.
It shows how advanced our brains are.
Right, it's what separates us.
Exactly.
Okay, so we've gone through all of Dr. Silver's arguments.
We have.
And I gotta say, I'm not totally convinced that we're all just a bunch of stranded extraterrestrials.
Yeah.
But before we move on, tell me a little bit about Dr. Silver.
Okay.
Is there anything more to his story? Like, what's his background?
Yeah, that's a good question. Yeah. I did a little digging, and honestly, there's not a ton of information out there about him. Like, his credentials or background beyond this book, it's kind of a mystery.
Interesting. It's also interesting that this whole prison planet theory,
right,
it seems to be, like, pretty niche. Like, it's mostly just, on certain parts of the internet.
Yeah.
They don't really see it being talked about in, like, mainstream science.
Right.
Makes you wonder, like, why hasn't it caught on more?
I think it's important to think about, like, why these theories appeal to people, Maybe it's like a sense of wonder about the universe or just wanting a little more excitement in our lives.
Yeah, it's definitely a thought-provoking idea, even if the science isn't really there to back it up.
Exactly. I think it reminds us that, it's fun to consider these unconventional theories, but we always have to come back to the scientific method.
Right. Got to stay grounded.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, this has been really interesting so far. We've busted some myths.
We have.
But we haven't really solved the mystery of human origins.
Not yet.
So if we didn't hitchhike here on a spaceship, where do we come from?
Right.
I guess we need to dive into, like, what science actually says about human evolution.
Yes, let's do that.
So stay tuned for part 2 because we're going to get into all of that.
Okay.
All right. So we've ruled out the whole alien thing. But how did humans get here? Like, what's the real story?
Well, the answer is evolution. It may not be as exciting as spaceships, but it's pretty incredible. The scientific community agrees that humans, just like everything else on this planet, evolved from a common ancestor. It took millions of years, Adaptation, diversification, and of course, natural selection. That was a big one.
Okay, so back to the basics. Remind me how evolution works, especially when it comes to us humans.
Sure. So imagine you have a group of, let's say, organisms. And in that group, there are natural variations. Some are taller, some have different coloring, even just tiny differences in how their bodies work, And then some traits just give certain individuals an advantage, like maybe if they're better at finding food or avoiding predators, things like that. They're more likely to survive, right? And reproduce. And then those traits get passed down to their offspring. And over many, many generations, those tiny changes add up and can actually create entirely new species.
That's incredible when you think about it.
Yeah.
So for humans, what were some of those, like, key adaptations that really set us apart?
Well, bipedalism is a big one. Walking upright, that's huge.
Yeah.
It wasn't just about posture. It freed up our hands, So we could use tools. We could see further out, like across the savannah.
Oh, right, yeah.
It even helped us regulate our body temperature in the heat.
Wow. So going from 4 legs to 2, that had a ripple effect, huh?
Yeah, huge ripple effect. It shows how evolution kind of builds on itself.
Yeah.
Like, each adaptation opens up these new possibilities. Another big one, of course, are brains.
Yeah.
Bigger brains meant more intelligence, better problem solving,
Right.
Social interaction. We were able to communicate better, cooperate, come up with new ideas.
So it wasn't just like, boom, here's a human. It was gradual.
Exactly, yeah. It was all about natural selection right here on Earth.
And the evidence for that is pretty strong.
Oh, yeah. Tons of evidence. We have all these fossils that document, the evolution of humans.
Right.
Going way back to, like, Australopithecus and then Homo erectus and eventually us, Homo sapiens.
It's like our family photo album.
Exactly. Yeah.
But over millions of years.
Millions of years, exactly. And it's not just the bones.
Right.
We can look at genetics, too. Our DNA is very similar to chimps, gorillas, orangutans.
Okay.
We all come from the same primate family tree millions of years ago.
So we're all connected.
We are.
Aliens are fun to think about, but it seems like we're pretty deeply rooted here on Earth.
Yeah, absolutely. We are products of this planet. It's shaped us, We're part of its history. It's all there in our DNA.
I love that. Okay, so we've debunked the alien theory, we've looked at the science of evolution, but I'm curious, why are people so drawn to these alternative origin stories? Like, why do we want something more, I don't know, dramatic?
It's a really interesting question. It makes me think about how curious we are as humans.
Yeah.
We're always searching for meaning, right? Trying to figure out where we came from, what our purpose is. And sometimes the science, while it's true,
It can be kind of boring.
it doesn't always feel satisfying. It's like we want a Hollywood origin story, something big.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Aliens, a cosmic experiment, that's more exciting than slow, messy evolution.
Right.
These stories make us feel special, chosen.
They do. Plus, there's always that allure of the unknown, right? We
Well,
love a good mystery.
Oh, yeah.
And these theories challenge what we think we know. I think that's appealing to some people.
It's like a cosmic conspiracy theory almost.
Yeah.
You're in the know, you've got the secret.
Exactly.
Makes you feel special.
It gives you a sense of belonging, Like
Yeah.
you understand the world in a deeper way.
So while those stories are fun, we should always be skeptical.
Yeah, absolutely.
Clinical thinking, checking the facts, trusting the science. Those are important.
Very important. We got to be careful with these topics. They're fun but complex.
Okay, so we've covered a lot. Alien theories, human evolution, even the psychology behind it all. But before we wrap up, I want to go back to something Dr. Silver was talking about.
Okay.
That humans just aren't really suited for Earth.
Right.
He points to all the stuff we talked about. Disease, sun sensitivity, childbirth. Like, we're not meant to be here.
Yeah.
But we've seen that those challenges are more about our evolutionary history, our lifestyle choices, the fact that no species is perfectly adapted.
Right.
Every living thing faces challenges, right?
It's all a balance. It is.
Like, you can't expect a penguin to be happy in the desert.
Exactly.
We have our weaknesses, but we're also adaptable.
Oh, yeah. Super adaptable.
We're resilient.
Think about it. We live all over the planet. Deserts, rainforests,
Yeah.
even frozen places.
We find a way.
We figure it out. We develop technology. We build communities. We've learned to thrive in all these different environments.
So it's not about being perfectly designed for one specific place. It's about, like, our ability to adapt and solve problems.
Exactly. And humans are amazing at that. We learn, we figure things out, we manipulate our surroundings.
We make it work.
Yeah, it's why we're so successful.
Makes me feel a little better knowing we can handle things,
Mm-hmm. We have accomplished incredible things as a species.
We have.
But we do need to recognize that our success has come at a cost. We've had an impact on the planet.
Right.
Climate change, biodiversity loss, these are serious challenges.
Right. That brings us back to your point about taking care of this planet.
It does. Whether we've been here for millions of years or we just got here, this planet is our home. We need to protect it.
I like that.
It's our responsibility.
Okay. So we've covered a lot today. The alien theory, human evolution, even the psychology of why we're drawn to certain explanations.
Yeah.
But I think the big takeaway is that no matter how we got here, our actions matter. What we do today is going to shape the future.
Absolutely. We need to remember that we're connected to this planet and everything on it.
I love that. Okay, time to wrap things up. But before we do, I was going to leave you with this thought. We're not just watching this planet. We're part of it.
Yeah.
We have the power to make things better. Our choices matter.
They do.
So to all our listeners out there, keep those minds curious and don't lose hope. We can create a better future. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, it really makes you think, Like, we were wondering if we're aliens, but maybe we should be asking, like, are we being good to this planet? Right, exactly. That's the big question, isn't it? I mean, where we come from is interesting, but what really matters is what we do now.
Right.
How we treat this planet, We have a responsibility to all the life here.
Okay, so where do we go from here? Like, it's easy to feel overwhelmed by all this climate change and everything. What can we actually do?
It's true. These are big problems.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean we can't do anything. It starts with us. What we choose to buy, how much we use, trying to be more sustainable, those things all add up.
I get that, but sometimes those individual actions feel so small. Like, what about the bigger changes that need to happen?
You're right. We definitely need bigger changes, too. Things that happen at, like, a policy level.
Right.
We need to be active in our communities. We need to push for policies that address climate change, protect biodiversity, and, hold our leaders accountable.
So it's a two-pronged approach. Personal responsibility and then also pushing for these bigger systemic changes.
Exactly. It's going to take a lot of different things, education, being open to new ideas, working together. Yeah. That's how we're going to create a future that works for everyone, not just humans.
Right, for the whole planet.
Yeah.
Well, this has been quite a deep dive. We started with the whole prison planet theory.
Right.
Which, was fun to think about, but didn't really pan out.
Then we looked at all that amazing evidence for human evolution, tracing our lineage back millions of years.
Yeah, and we learned that no matter how we got here, we got to take care of this place.
Yeah.
It's our home.
It really is. It reminds us that where we come from might be up for debate, but what we do now, that's what's going to determine the future.
I like that. So to wrap things up, remember, we're not just visitors here. We're part of this planet.
We are.
Our choices make a difference.
Absolutely.
We can make a better future. So to all our listeners, keep asking those big questions and don't give up hope. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.